Good morning.
Good morning.
So how are you today?
Tired.
A little bit tired. Okay. Today we are going to talk about the reading article in Unit 8, Recipes for Innovation. Have you read this article?
Yeah.
Okay, and have you also come up with some questions for discussion today? Okay, so basically this article is about the supercomputer Watson, right? And supercomputer Watson competed in a TV quiz show a couple of years ago, and it beat human beings, right? And now supercomputer has got into the culinary industry, the cooking industry. So basically today we are going to discuss a new technology called cognitive cooking. Okay, so the big question for our discussion today is, what is cognitive cooking? Okay. So before we get started, let's review some of the rules for discussion today. So when we are discussing, what are we supposed to do? Do you have any ideas?
You raise some question and discuss with others, and you can know others' opinion.
Yeah, we raise questions. You can raise any questions freely, right? So long time ago, we discussed different types of questions. Do you still remember the 6 types of questions according to the QT approach? Connection question, generalization question, and affective question. Object question is like a follow-up question, right? And we also have like speculation question, guessing, right? And connection question. Connection question is like an intertextual question, right? Okay, so when we are discussing, we can raise questions freely. And what else can we do when we are talking, when we are discussing?
You can say that you agree with or disagree with.
Yeah, sure. You can. It's okay to disagree with your classmates, right? So don't feel shy. Don't feel afraid. So if you feel if you have a reservation about your classmates' ideas, it's okay to share your thoughts, your ideas with your classmates. Okay? And what else?
Respect.
Respect each other. Okay? We discuss like friends in a small group, and of course we need to respect each other. Okay? Okay? So is that all? And there is one more rule, because now we are going to discuss as a group, okay? So if someone is silent or is quiet, we can encourage him or her to share his or her ideas. So we can ask him or ask her a question. Okay, so is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so are you guys ready for discussion?
Yes.
Okay, so let's get started, okay?
What's your feeling after reading this article?
I think it's interesting about the main point about this article is about our machines making us obsolete.
I think the robot may make our life more convenient, but if we just let robot cook for us, we cannot enjoy cooking. Yeah, because I think cook is a very enjoyable thing for me. So I think if in the future we just allow robot to cook for me, I cannot believe what.
Cooking is like things that you can connect people together, because you put your emotions into it. So you have many happiness during the procession. But if you just make the things is made by a robot, you just accept the things. You don't have any feeling about it. It's just like it's a routine. So you won't feel happy, grateful, and gratitude towards things. Just think it's all the things take granted.
So this is from a chef's perspective, right? So if you are interested in cooking, but robot takes your place, so you can no longer enjoy the process of cooking anymore, right?
And also the one who gets the dishes. You can feel the chefs, he put many efforts into it, but if you just get the things from the robot, and maybe you'll feel, oh, this is so cherished.
Can you tell us more about it? What do you mean by that?
Just imagine if your parents made the dishes for you, you'll feel, oh, this is very awesome, because your family do the things for you, especially only for you. But if you made the thing, you get the things from the robot, it can get this thing for everyone. So you're not special. You'll feel, oh, it's just these things. I don't have to feel, oh, it's just only for me. So it's like the emotional layer is, it get a thing, make you feel special, and you can get some power and get some encouragement from it.
I think another question is about that everyone's flavor is different. Someone like these dishes, but someone can just dislike it. So the robot maybe can make something that is many people like it, but it cannot just consider for every people.
And that's also the issue is the computer can get many recipes and mix them together, make it into a new one. But you never know the dish is delicious or not. So there's also the risk that you have to take a dish, but you don't know what happened after that.
But I have an idea. I have a question about one idea mentioned in this article. According to this article, the supercomputer Watson has a very huge, very strong database, and the database stores a lot of different information about a lot of different ingredients and cooking methods, and etc., so that it can create a wide variety of recipes. So if the supercomputer can create a wide, it can create a lot of different recipes, I think it should allow human beings to taste different flavors, a lot more flavors than before. So what do you think about this point?
Yeah, I agree with that computers can make people to try it for them at first, but it's still the problem that they have to rely on people to do that for them. If we focus on the future jobs, the machine can do all the things by themselves, and not excluding the people's efforts. Yeah, so if we're talking about machine is automated to do all the things by themselves, and I don't think it's included people have to do something for them, because we really ensure that they can do all the things perfectly, and we don't have to just get into it.
In the article, last paragraph, it mentioned computers may be brilliant when it comes to designing recipes, but people can eat. What does it mean? Does it mean people can be more important than robots exactly, or?
You mean it's talking like the machine can make the things for us, but we are the one who can get the things.
So robot cannot replace people sometimes.
Instead of this, like talking on the focus is on robots or people. We have to pay attention to the people's feedbacks and reflection of the robots function, like they can do how many things they can do. We put all the things to robot, and we don't have to do anything anymore. But it still make me too concerned that it's not a threat for people, because if the computer can make all the things, what kind of value we still have?
human beings.
Yeah.
Our jobs can be replaced all by the robot.
Yeah, because we all want to take a convenience that robot can bring to us.
Yeah.
But if robot can do all the things, how can we still have the things we can do?
I think people may be more and more lazy. we don't need to try hard to do something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why I raised this question is because I just watched a TED Talk this morning during my computer section, and it's talking about the computer. Now they can think by themselves. They have the critical thinking system, and maybe why the computers and the machines can capitalize people in the future, because they are going to enhance their ability day by day.
Mm-hmm.
But people's ability is decreased every day.
Mm-hmm.
So they are improved ability, but we just going to just rely on them and don't want to do any efforts and want to get every convenience they can give to us. And people become very, very lazy. He talked about interesting fact that the doctors or the scholars in the past, they can read many data and get many informations by themselves.
Yeah.
And reading just like the study.
Mm-hmm.
So they can get many information, like the thousands of the study, they can get many information. But now people are just going to Google.
Yeah.
And they get the information directly,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't have to digest the information. They just get the things just one way.
Mm-hmm.
But in the past, people can think about themselves. So it's why I can't say we are worse than the people in the past, but we can get the information easily. So that's why we in lack of some kind of advantage nowadays.
So you are feeling like human beings are losing some of the skills that we possess now, right?
Yeah, I don't really feel this kind of sense of losing the blood very strongly. But after seeing that, it really reminds me that we really do these things, and if we just rely on the machine, and maybe sometimes we really can do anything.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. Okay. So, what do you think about it, Tati?
I remember there was a movie called Wally, and people in the ship are
Just
fat and lazy because the machine and robots are very convenient.
Yeah.
And I think it because I'm studying history department, and my teachers always say in their age, in their period, there were not very convenient internet, and the Google didn't just there was not a Google searching, and the way they go to search the data is just go to library and borrow lots of books and read them and find the information they want to find. But now in our age, we just type some words and the Google will search the data for you. And so my teacher always when they pick some things and make us to do this homework, they say, oh, don't use the Google. Don't just take the data on the Googles. You can just go to library and just let one, they did before.
Yeah.
So I think it's because when people talk about the history department, and they will think that we are good at searching data.
Yeah.
So teachers always think that Google is made this advantage just disappear.
Yeah, that's right. So you think that relying on the technology is a danger threat, especially to history majors?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had one class last week, and in the class we discussed what is different between we read a book on the internet or by book.
Yeah.
And the conclusion for our team is that if we just read the words on book and we can think slowly, but if we just maybe just like they say, we just Google it and there are lots of information and we just catch some, and we don't have time to 消化
Digest.
digest these informations, and we cannot have more good idea to, yeah. And I think people invent robot to do things. We cannot too rely on them because we hope the robot make our life more convenient, and we don't want to have a result because some robots are too smart and we can more rely on them, and we maybe finally we cannot do anything and robot take everything from us.
And I also have the same feeling to this situation because we all know that internet is very convenient nowadays. So we usually trying to get something on the website, but the website tend to make us to read in segments, and it gets something partly, and it doesn't make me to think about comprehend it or read it, and you don't have to think by yourself. And sometimes the information is incorrect, but you don't want to figure it out it's correct or not. So it's a problem that we only get the information, but we don't we were not going to figure out the things is true or not. So it's like people just a being who get the information one way, and we don't just like we are like also the computer, but the computer it cannot think by itself.
Yeah.
So
And we just take in whatever we found on the internet.
That's like the issue after this.
And especially there is a lot of fake news on the internet, and it's very hard to tell what is really true and what is wrong.
Yeah. So people's thinking is usually to influenced by the internet comments. So that's why many people are going to attack others or get hurt by others.
Yeah.
It's because we are easily to get the information and it just believe it is true.
Are you guys, when you are reading this article, did you feel a little bit scared or concerned about how smart or how powerful robots are today?
I am afraid that in the future I have to work with many robots, and they do more fast than me.
But where does your worry come from?
Because I think robots can be more. Because people may get tired, but robots seems to be energetic all the time. We just put some electron, and you can work. So
They are restless. They don't have to take a break.
I have a part-time job in the Dirty Coffee, and we have some people to work in the kitchen and some people to take customers' order. But now we have a machine for customers to order by themselves. So I think in the future maybe we don't need people to take customers' order, and they may have let some people to lose their job.
From your perspective, is it good to work with a machine, like kind of machine?
to save time, and maybe if we are very busy, and we hope people to use this machine and don't just call us to help them, but on the other hand, we are also very scared, because I think if this situation just go and not maybe 10 years later or 20 years, and the world may yeah.
Which is not good.
So
Yeah, although the machine can reduce their working loading, but it also the problem that it will lack the feeling and the achievement. You can collaborate with your coworkers, and also it will reduce the time you can interact with the customer. That's why we obsessed with the shop in the past, because maybe the shopkeeper will make you feel welcome.
Yeah.
So, but there's an advantage that you don't have to spend the time to interact with others, just like the people who like to use a cell phone instead of talking to one across from you. So, I don't know, it's really the positive trend in the negative one.
Yeah.
And also, as what I see the tech talk, and the spokesman also say those things that I think it's very scary, because we all know the doctor. If you want to be a doctor, you have to pay many hard work, and you have to study many information about the medical, about the mental, the psycho one. But now you just have to put all the data into the computer. They can comprehend by themselves and get their own rules, maybe just one day or many hours. But the doctor have to pay more than 10 years to be the professional one. And now the computer just have to get the data and digest by themselves. So what's our weakness side? I don't know.
But do you really think that computers or robots can take the place of a doctor?
Not really.
Not really. Why not?
The doctors, try to say, the machine is going to find a problem for the doctors to find out and to communicate with the patient. But if the patient just work the machine, it will make it feel, oh, I'm really in the bad situation. And the doctor sometimes is going to comfort them. But the doctor still have to do it. The doctors like to give you the things can make you feel better. But the machine just to figure out the problem.
So that's about like emotional connection.
So even we have so convenient machine today, it's still they'll get some wrong decisions. So nobody can promise that my decision is all right.
Good. So what do you think about the future of human beings?
I think now the advantage of human is that human have the temperature and they will share their emotion. But robot is cold and they don't have emotion. And that's another question about we should just create the emotion for robot. We should develop this science, this technology. It's some moral questions about just human and robot, and some sci-fi movies is talk about these questions. That robots will rule the world in the future.
So do you think that robots would feel like a human being in the future? Is it possible, or?
I think I originally felt it's not, because I think they don't have their own emotions. But after I seen the video on YouTube, it's talking about nowadays many artificial intelligence robots that really can have a conversation with another AI robot, and they're talking about many things like economy, kind of example, sometimes some other topics.
Yeah.
They also talking about how can they going to rule the people in the future. And the video just stopped in this section.
Yeah.
And many people feel scared because they have the more intelligent ability we don't have. But there's also the question that people say is somebody just kidding about us, just made a joke. But I think it's really important because it can warn people you have to do more things that make yourself more valuable, and you will get some tired situation in the future.
I think it's terrible if robots have emotion. It's something about the religion. I think emotion and think is the God, the work of God. But God gave human the emotion, and then the human just think by themselves. So I think if human just develop the emotion of robots, it was you take the words of the God.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and if you see some scientific films and you're talking about the robots and the machine didn't get ordered correctly, if you want to turn off the machine, but it's going to go the opposite way, it can't control it anymore, and what kind of problem will happen?
I don't know why people want to invent some robot and want them to have emotion. Do they feel they can make our life more convenient? Because we already have emotion. I know in Japan there seems to have some robots. They can take care of their elders.
Yeah.
But I think we can take care of our family in person, so we don't need to let robot to do some important things.
It's another question about the society because people born less in today.
Maybe.
But all the action comes from people need. If people don't need it, and it will not occur. So this because some people invent robots is because they are lonely and they are not good at interacting with people. So they want to make things they can talk with them and share their feeling with this. But they didn't think about in the future maybe the robots were going to control your thinking, to decide your decisions.
Yeah.
So I think maybe at first they just want to solve their own problems.
Yeah.
But now there's still many problems come after it.
Yeah.
But after listening our discussion, I find out maybe that's not a solution, but things we can enhance our ability.
Yeah.
Because I think maybe a few weeks ago I just think, and if the machine can replace our jobs, and what kind of things we can do to solve the problem. But I think if you are labor in a company, some supervisors like the one who can do things order by order, and it's like a machine. But some supervisors like the one he can do the things in advance. You don't have to talk to them anything. They can think by themselves. They can make the things all perfect. So maybe you can get ahead from the schedule, and you can preview the things will happen and going to solve the problem. So maybe it's still the advantage that people can do because the machine just get older. They don't going to think what kind of problem may happen.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Although we say they are content-free, but they only have the consciousness, but they want to think about the future. They just focus on the right now.
So let's get back to one of the questions Zilin just mentioned. Zilin, a while ago, she asked the question about the last paragraph in this article, right? in the realm of food, however, people have one magnificent advantage. And do you agree with the conclusion of this paragraph, this reading article? Basically, the author, the writer, thinks that human beings are still better than robots because we have that kind of emotional bonds with each other, right? And we also have emotional connection with other people, which robots do not have, right? So do you agree with this conclusion?
Yeah. I think the conclusion is still the positive we have to do to encourage people to go on, because if they're telling you you don't have any advantage, you are not valuable, I think people just get depressed and upset. I don't have any chance in the world.
Yeah. So like this conclusion is very positive. Okay, very promising, right?
All the things they're talking about is all telling us you are not better than the machines.
Yeah.
But they're telling you, and also machine is invented by people.
Yeah.
So people is also brilliant. Or how come they can make it?
Okay, that's very good. That's very good. Okay, so maybe we can get back to the very first question that I asked you today. What is cognitive cooking, right? So what do you think about cognitive cooking? Can you share your ideas?
I'm the one who like cooking, so I'm not really trying the dishes is made by robots, but I think the foods now sold in the convenience store, maybe mostly is made by robots.
You don't like to try that kind of food?
I have tried it because sometimes you're forced to eat them. You don't have any choice.
Yeah.
But it will make you feel, it's okay to eat, but it's not really tasty.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you feel the restaurant is held by chefs is more better, much better.
I think we should use this kind of machine in the right place and in the right way. We can't just rely on them and to cook for me. And I think it can make our life more convenient, because when in some place people cannot just eat enough, and we can use this kind of you can this kind of robot to make some food to them more fast. But in some time we also cannot just let robot to do things for me. We should let the machine to we should let the machine in the good use and make our life more convenient and also more efficient.
That's a good point.
I think it talks about that the machine will produce the unexpected combinations, but people would they may be afraid of to try these innovative combinations, and because some people are conventional, and they may think, why you use such weird combinations to make food? I just like the traditional or the conventional dishes.
So unconventional doesn't mean good, right?
Yeah.
So it's unique, but it's not. Doesn't mean good. Like, and maybe people do not accept that kind of recipe. They don't like it, right?
But it still will be the conventional one in the future.
You
We will be
become-
the conventional one.
So what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
It's just like talking about the art areas.
Yeah.
Maybe someone could add the new skills of painting will be called the weird one. The abnormal one in that period, but afterwards the people in the future may say, wow, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
So the people in different generations will have different thinking about it. And I also, it makes me come up with the idea that, I don't know, I'm not sure you guys in the night market nearby our school, I didn't go into the shop, but I seen the interesting one is a robot at the door of the shop.
There is a robot there?
If my memory is correct, I'm not sure it's nearby our market or in some night markets in Taipei. There's a robot in front of, and many robots I have seen in the store. They're going to light up the burden of the chefs. They're going to cook the noodles or just slice the meat. They do that for the chefs, but the chefs also still hold the authority in the kitchen by themselves, because the robot just going to support them to be their vice like assistant, but they still do the things by themselves mostly. So if you use the machine wisely, they can be their helper, but not the one who can threaten you.
Yeah, that's right. So like machines or robots are still operated by human beings, right? They can never replace the place of a chef or a doctor.
I think all the problems it depends on how people to use the machine. If you rely on it too much, and maybe sometimes you don't have any ability. But if you just use it like a computer, if you would just find the information, well, we can digest it by ourselves and thinking about it, and we will not controlled by the computers.
And I think you also mentioned a very good point that human beings should keep improving our skills and abilities. So we should avoid being replaced by robots. Try our best and try to improve ourselves, right? Okay. So maybe we can come back to the reading article. Okay. So there are some very important keywords. I think we should discuss them. Let's take a look at the very first sentence on page 122. Are you there? Yes? The first sentence is, ever since the first mechanical computing machine was invented in the early 1800s, computers, it seems to have been creeping up on us. What do you think the phrase, keeping up on us, what does this mean? Any idea?
Maybe got close to someone secretly.
Secretly? And?
Going to get ahead to them.
Yeah.
Follow human steps.
Follow human steps. Good. So what about the entire sentence? What does the entire sentence imply? What do you think?
Why?
Like computers, they, creep up on human beings.
So after the time flies, the machine is going to have the same height of the thinking with people. So how we think, how we do the things, they also can copy us because they are really good at copying things. That's why it's their advantage.
So Zilin just mentioned creep up on us means like approaching someone quietly or secretly, right?
Maybe it means that our life and computers, robots, this kind of things may become more closer and our relationship became more strong.
That's a good point. And also creeping up on, it also implies that when you approach someone quietly or secretly, and the person will feel surprised. So what do you think about the entire sentence? Feeling surprised.
So people is surprised at the performance that the machine really can do, because they didn't think about that the machine can do so many things. And more than what they think about.
Yeah, that's possible, right? Most of us are not aware of the power of technology, right? Until we see it, until we see real examples, right? Okay.
Robots improvement seems to be more faster than people
Expected, right? That's
also,
correct.
Phenomenon that is very interesting because we rely on the search engine, like Google Translate. So I find really that machines is worse than what people can do, because the professional translator depends on the situation to make the sentence. But the Google machine just translate this sentence word by word, even it's word of vocabulary,
Yeah.
also paragraph and article.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting because my classmate asked me to check his assignment for him
Yeah.
in English, and he tell me I have to tell you some truths at first. I use the Google engine, the translating the article. I said, oh no, I can tell you at first, even I didn't see your article, it's all wrong. And the result also proved that my point of view is right because the article is so terrible.
So like before he told
Yeah.
you guess maybe
Yeah, because
your classmate translated everything on
because
Google,
he
right?
said he thinks he's bad and is poor at English, so he's going to seek the help from Google.
Yeah.
And also I learned Spanish for the classes in our school this semester. So I want to try the Google machine is good at other foreign languages, so I just type in the words I learned from the class. And if I type in Spanish and then turn into the Chinese, it's all correct. But if I just switch them, if I use the Chinese into the Spanish, it's all wrong. It didn't have any grammar system.
Why?
I don't know. I used them. I didn't just delete all the words. I just switched them immediately, and it becomes a different result. I don't know why. Even answer is I giving it a sign that I'm going to switch them. It just have to give me the same result. The robots still have their own thinking. Like Spanish, I say I write a sentence because if just a vocabulary, maybe the correction, the percentage you make it right is very high. But I make it into a sentence. I just write
accuracy rate.
Accuracy is very low because I type a sentence like I have 5 cats.
In Spanish?
In Spanish.
In Spanish.
And the Chinese, if it translates into Chinese, it's right.
Yeah.
And I'll switch them.
Okay.
I didn't do anything. I just hold the button into switch, and the sentences become overrun.
Is it because it's more difficult to translate Chinese into Spanish?
I think that's because our Chinese have some really difficult grammar system because like the Spanish didn't use the subjunctive like the English I, you, he, she. They just they say the subjunctives can be neglected. You just have to focus on the verbs. So they have many chances in verbs. But in Chinese, we have 4 kinds of subjunctive. You and I and she. He and she is it's also different, just like English. But they simply into the same words. So it's the difference, maybe the cultural difference. So make a machine cannot just translate it really correctly.
That's a good point. Okay. And the second phrase is on page 123. Modus operandi. Do you see that? Modus operandi is the last line in the left column. Modus operandi. Scientists refer to Watson's modus operandi as cognitive computing, right? So what is the phrase modus operandi mean? Any ideas?
Modus operandi is the working way that people or machine used to use that. Like a habit or they got used to it.
The habits of working, right? So modus operandi is Latin, right? It's Latin. And this phrase refers to people, a particular way of doing something. And it also refers to people's ways of working or habits of working. And this phrase is often used in a criminal sense. So it means like the way for a criminal to commit a crime. The way employed by a criminal when he or she is committing a crime or executing a crime.
And that's the origin of the copycat.
Yeah, that's right. Modus operandi, okay. And one more is on page 125. Obsolete, right? I think obsolete is also a very important keyword in this article, obsolete. And do you see obsolete in the left column? Yes, obsolete. What does this word mean, obsolete? So are machines making us obsolete?
Being replaced.
be replaced because of what? Something is
Their
replaced
intelligence.
because of
Their intelligence. And
intelligence. Okay, so obsolete, it means something that is not in use anymore because it has been replaced by something newer or something more fashionable. Okay, so our machines making us obsolete. So our machine making us easier to be replaced, okay, by technology or robots, etc. Okay, so, okay, very good. Okay, I think you raised a lot of very interesting and very insightful ideas during our discussion. Okay, do you have any ideas or any questions you want to share?
I have one.
What's that?
I want to know about how to interrupt others in they're having a conversation to interrupt them politely, because sometimes maybe we come up with an idea. We want to share with them or discuss with them, but they're still talking about it.
Yeah.
And how we can just get into a conversation but not make them feel offended.
Yeah. I think that's a very good question, because when we are discussing, especially like a small group like this, we should try to avoid being offended or being rude to other people. So when you have something you want to share or something you want to add to your classmate's idea, you should know how to interrupt them politely, okay, so that you don't make them feel offended, like what you said earlier. And there are many different phrases, useful phrases that you can use when you are trying to interrupt. For example, one of the very common phrases is "excuse me for interrupting," but then you continue with your idea. Okay, and another phrase is "sorry, but." Okay, and you can share with your idea with your classmates. Do you know any other phrases that we can use to interrupt other people politely?
If they just set out opinion first, like you agree with it or
Yeah, I think that's also good. Okay.
And also it can just like say if you feel confused or maybe the idea he's talking about is incorrect, maybe I can say, I'm afraid that it still have to discuss his faith.
Yeah.
And it keep a space. It don't just judge him directly.
Yeah.
It can give us space to we still can figure it out, to find information to prove our points of view is right or not.
Yeah. It is true that sometimes you may disagree with your classmates, or you may feel reserved about your classmates' ideas. You can of course comment on the idea first. Okay, you raise a very good point, but can I comment on that, and then you share your different idea with your classmates. Okay. Basically, it's okay to disagree, especially in a small group discussion.
But I
like
think
this.
still that difficult is how to make the one didn't feel all of a sudden I just keep talking and it just interrupting me. Because it's a cultural difference between Chinese and Western.
Yeah.
Because in Eastern, we like to let the one finish all the sentence and all the word he wants to say, and we keep to comment on it.
Yeah.
But in the Western, it's very straightforward. You say something, and I want to comment on that, I just got it. But I will not make you feel, oh, I'm really impolite, think of manners. So it's still the difference when you're talking to the Eastern or the Western.
So what can we do to solve this kind of problem?
Sometimes we have to find a space you can go into it. Sometimes because if a people who really talk too much, sometimes you have to think about it, or you have to just get stopped and take a breeze and go down it, and you can just find a place to raise a question.
Yeah. Sometimes if I'm in this situation, I would raise my hand like this to show that I have something to say, or I want to add up that point. Okay, so even though that one of our ground rules is we don't need to raise our hand if we want to share or we want to say something, but in that situation, I think raising our hand like this is very helpful. Okay. Any other suggestions or?
Maybe in the discussion we can take the turns and that everybody can have time to say what they want to say.
Yeah. So like you take turns sharing our
But it
ideas.
also depends on the people who are talking about. If you're just your friends or who is get close to you, and you feel free to interrupt
That's
them.
right. That's right.
And if you are really familiar with one, maybe they just can observe your facial expression and they know you want to say something.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It really depends on who you are talking with, right? Sometimes if you are talking with your friends, I think they feel it's okay to be interrupted, right? Because it's kind of like a talk among friends, right? Yeah. So any other questions? If not, I'm gonna tell you what homework you should complete before next class, okay? So for homework, please finish the exercises on page 126 and 127. So next time, we will check your answers and discuss the questions. Okay, is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.